In what is one of possibly the strangest video trends to sweep the web, the Harlem Shake is taking over YouTube. The video
billed as the next Gangnam Style, Harlem Shake has already been watched and copied by millions of fans across the world.
Move over side and Carly Rae, a new dance craze is taking over the internet. It is the Harlem Shake. 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 Harlem Shake.
My name's Scott, and I'm going to tell you a story. So, I think I grew up pretty normal. You know, I played a lot of sports.
Yeah!
I had a really good family.
Oh, yeah. And now there's not rain.
And I was involved in a lot of extracurricular activities.
Why don't we just quit? It's not going anywhere. We're doing this.
I noticed very early on that I like to be a leader, you know? I felt like I was good at delegating, and I thought, hey, why not try and be leader of my high school? So when I got to high school when I was 14 or so, my goal was to become president of the Student Representative Council, or the SRC, if you will. I don't know, because I thought there's a lot of pride that went into that title. Not necessarily from other students, like they didn't think of me as better or anything, but for myself. Like, I think I would respect myself more if I had that title. So all throughout high school, everyone kind of knew that I was going to be president, you know? I had teachers telling me that I was going to be it, that I was going to win, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah, we called him El Presidente. That's what we called him. That was weird, because, yeah, he's not Spanish. I don't know. Kids, you know.
Mind you, I was still kind of a dork. You know, I had these big, thick-rimmed glasses. I focused on my grades. I really wanted to get good grades. Like, I wasn't popular by any means. So when it came time for the election in grade 11, it's not like I didn't have a lot of competition, but something inside me just told me that I was going to win. By a lot.
He cared about the students. He was the friendliest guy in the entire school, and it didn't matter who you were. He'd share his corn dog with you if you were hungry, Mountain Dew if you were thirsty, or even tie your shoes if you blew a tire and your hands were full.
So then came time for our speeches, and I took a more comedic approach where my fellow candidates, they kind of pulled at the heartstrings, and I actually think that worked for a lot of people. Hey, did you see my video? The one I ran?
Spend some money out the school. Get in trouble. At least suspend it. Grab the teacher.
Magnificent. I mean, that's legendary still. I mean, we'll still talk about it to this day.
Oh, it was revolutionary at the time, I swear. It ended up being a pretty close race, but in the end, I won. And my dreams had finally come true, and I was now president. In 2013, there was this viral video craze going around where one person would be dancing in a room to the song Harlem Shake, and when the beat drops, all of a sudden the room fills with people, and they're all dancing wildly, and I don't know. It was dumb, but it looked pretty fun, honestly. So at our weekly council meeting, I proposed this idea that, like, hey, why doesn't our senior class do the Harlem Shake, you know? It'll raise student morale, if you will. I don't know. It'll be fun. So everything was approved by students and staff, and we planned on doing it the next day. And, you know, I wrote on our senior Facebook page, like, hey guys, we're doing the Harlem Shake tomorrow. Like, it's gonna be fun. The next day came, and throughout the day, I don't know, you could just feel this electricity in the air. You know, people were bringing costumes. There was a few cow costumes. There was like some morph suits, these big inflatable costumes. It was great, honestly. So at the end of the day, you know, I set up my camera on the bridge. It's all framed up. I'm just about to hit that record button. Then the vice principal runs into the shot. She comes in and she's screaming. She's like, no, you guys can't film this. You need to stop. And I don't know, we all just kind of looked around and I don't know, we were very confused.
No, you know, the vice principal comes running down, and, you know, it felt kind of weird because I was in a tiger costume, and starts, you know, yelling, you guys got to get out of here. And we all kind of just looked at Scott, and Scott was like, there's nothing we can really do. Said, we can't do it. And we didn't.
This just got approved. You know, she's saying someone's going to get hurt, but no one's jumping off any walls. No one's climbing on each other. This is just a simple dance. You know, she insisted that it be shut down, you know, gave some other reasons like consent to filming and stuff. And I don't know. No one really knew what was going on. And I remember running down there and I was going to try to sort this out. I mean, I was the one who set this up. And all I was told is tell everyone to go home right now.
Well, everyone was shocked, but I think Scott was shocked most of all. Because, I mean, he'd kind of set it up, and, you know, he was kind of like the he was the guy who led it. So I think he was just, a little bit of disappointment, but mainly it was really weird. We were just dancing, who cares? So
Then everyone just was looking at me, and I don't know, I think I'll remember this moment for the rest of my life, because here they are, all in these costumes, expecting me to turn around and be like, it's back on, and, lead them to this video, but I couldn't do that, and I just had to tell them to go home. I felt pretty bad that day, honestly. Like, I really did. Because in the grand scheme of things, I know this is like such a small and minute thing, but it still felt like I let my classmates down. And I don't know, it just didn't feel good. Now, the next part of the story is a bit fuzzy, but it's really where it kicks into gear. Because I think there's only 3 people who know what actually happened. So then the media, like what you would hear on the news, said that I was the one who complained. Like, I went to them and complained about this injustice that happened.
Look, I'm not going to tell you who went to the media initially, because I can assure you it wasn't Scott.
So you don't even know who spoke out?
I do know who talked, but I know it wasn't Scott. He didn't even talk to the media after they got involved. I talked to them for him, because that's how much the guy didn't want to be involved in the blow-up.
Maybe the media said I reached out to them because they thought it would make a better story, that I was the one leading this charge. So, I don't know, it didn't seem to be doing much harm, so I just sat back and took that role. And because of this, I received a lot of criticism, not from my classmates, but from random people, calling me like a spoiled brat, anything I don't want, I just complain, but again, I wasn't that person. Then things really got out of hand. People were saying all kinds of things, and I wasn't talking much. Any call that I got, I just sent them to my friend, because I knew I was on thin ice with the school, and I didn't want it to get worse. It got to the point where it was on the news, and then the biggest radio station in the city picked it up. And all of a sudden, teachers were extra strict with students having their phones out, because if they were caught listening to a certain radio station, they'd get in trouble, and I know a lot of kids who got in trouble that day. A lot of people phoned in to give their opinions, and some were negative, but majority were positive, kind of calling out the school for being too strict, let the students have fun, and I just sat back and let the music play.
In my day, we showed respect for adults and the rules.
There was no threat to others or the school property. Like, good God, it was only a 30-second dance video.
Nowadays, John, kids are just doing whatever they want without consequences.
The school division just needs to lighten up.
So this didn't sit well with the higher-ups, of course, and the following week, I had a daily visit to the principal's office. Because here you have this kid who was essentially groomed since he was in grade 9 or 10 to be president of the school one day, and then he causes the biggest media frenzy that they'd seen? I think they were conflicted, honestly. Then on the Friday, I had one more meeting with them, and already I knew this one was more serious. It took place in a boardroom, they asked my parents to be there, and I remember stopping my parents right before we went in, and I just told them, I was like, this is so dumb, just have fun with it, please. And if you're not gonna have fun with it, just allow me to have fun with it. We talked about the issue again, and it all came down to my principal looking at me and saying, Scott, if this situation happened again, would you do anything differently? Expecting me to be very apologetic, very sorry, but I remember leaning back in my chair, looking him in the eye and being like, no, because I didn't do anything wrong. Now, I don't know what answer I could have said that would have saved me, but all I know is that I just didn't want to give them an answer that they would have liked. At that moment, the principal and vice principal just looked at each other and they didn't say anything, but I knew a decision was made. And then the principal looks at me and he's like, sorry to say, Scott, but starting immediately, your presidential duties have been suspended. And that was it. 4 years of working to be the president down the drain over something just so stupid. I mean, yeah, I was a bit upset. I remember walking out of the office and my stomach felt extra heavy. But not because I did something bad or inherently evil. I just wanted to make a video and dance. I thought it'd be fun. Now, the aftermath of the situation was probably the coolest part, because the support that I received and the backlash that the school received was huge, and I wasn't even the one leading it. So many of my friends and classmates, they wore these shirts that said, "We love Scott" on them, and
Oh, yeah, I drew a dick on mine. I felt bad because, it's a Catholic school, but
every time there was a gathering of students, these Scott for Prez chants would start and they would just drown out other noise. Assemblies came to a halt because these chants would just drown out everything. Oh yeah, and then one time my friend was reading the prayer over the intercom to everyone, and he finished his prayer and then he says, And then Moses said, "Let Scott be prez." Now, he wasn't the fastest runner in the world, this guy, but apparently he sprinted out of that office faster than Usain Bolt could have, because the vice principal was chasing him kind of thing. And I think he missed the rest of the day because he did that.
I was going to get Scott for Prez tattooed on my leg. I didn't. I just got a dick instead. So.
Or when it came time to graduate and like get your diploma, you know, walk across the stage, shake the principal's hand. I remember turning to the guy behind me and being like, listen, if I'm walking across that stage and these chants start going, I said, just wait, because I don't want these chants to drown out your name and kind of take that moment away from you, because I don't know, it didn't seem very fair. I felt a lot of guilt towards my class as well, too, especially afterwards. Like, I felt like I owed them something because they showed me all this love and support, and I just didn't know what to repay them with. But I think we just had a really good class, honestly. We were pretty tight. I wouldn't change anything for the world. Now, looking back, I understand even more how just overblown the situation was. I mean, sure, I made some mistakes, but I felt like I held my own, you know? And at the end of the day, I think that's what made it right. Yeah, we actually ended up doing one at the radio station, and like the radio station, that really big one, they hosted us. They sent an email saying, hey, bring your senior class, and yeah, it turned out pretty good, I thought.